Hey everybody, welcome back to the Charcoal Lane Journey, YouTube journey. Um, Today we'll be talking about meeting family down at Charcoal Lane because it was more than just drinking as well. It was meeting people and in particular family. Um, Charcoal Lane, uh, I decided to dedicate the album to Jock Austin, Herbert. We called him Jock, and he was a he was just a legendary figure. He was larger than life. He was he yeah, a relation of mine, a cousin, but also a leader in the community. And there weren't too many people that didn't listen to Jock. Uh, and if you didn't, you probably should know about it. But he was a lovely man, but strong. But I remember meeting Jock for the first time in Charcoal Lane. Um, we was having a charge, me and Lawrence and the rest of the gang, and everything seemed to be going along normally. And then this next minute, this big guy come around the corner, just off Derby Street, which is off Smith Street, where Charcoal Lane used to be, and he had a big afro, yeah, moustache, singlet, and he was a big guy, you know. I remember him well, and I can remember his voice. He come in and said, "Oh," he come into the lane and goes, "I heard there's an Archie Roach down here," and we all sort of looked at each other, and I'm looking at Lawrence, and Lawrence, my brother Lawrence, and he put his head down and sort of looked away, and next minute all the lads just sort of moved away from me, and it was just me and this fellow, this lad looking at me, looking for Archie Roach, and I was thinking, what's going on? I don't even know this guy, you know, and the way he was talking and the way he was looking at me, it was rather menacing, and I'm thinking, nah, I can't get into a fight with this fella. He'll knock my head off, and and he started walking up towards me. And I'm looking at Lawrence, and Lawrence is still looking the other way, and the other guys are too. And the closer he got to me, the more worried I was getting. And he got that close to me, we're almost, touching, face to face, nose to nose. And he's looking at me, he said, "Are you Archie Roach?" And I go, "Yeah." and that's when he lifted his arms up. I'm going, "Oh no." And he just threw them around me and hugged me. He said, "I heard you was down here, my little cuzzy. I'm Jock Austin. I'm your big cousin. Good to see you." And he gave me a big hug, and I looked across the Lawrence and the other guys, and they were all laughing. I said, "Oh, so you were in on this too, were you?" And I said, "Well, Jock thought it'd be, a good idea, to meet you, and I'd just play a little joke on you." I said, "Yeah, very funny, very funny." And that's how I met Jock Austin. Uh, I remember back in the day when I'm drinking down Charcoal Lane and drinking through the years in the parks. Jock always tried to sort of get me doing something else, out of the park, out of the lanes, and probably just doing something a little bit more positive, like starting up a gym that he wanted to get going, and so we did that. And, he just went around, and such was the respect that other people had for Jock that he went around to different gyms, gymnasiums, gyms, boxing gyms, and got used gear like punching bags and boxing gloves and speed balls, just to set up the first gym. But there was other things too about him that he just had that quality about him. You know, you'd listen to him, and he almost like a father figure, really, or an uncle rather than a cousin. Yeah, he was a leader in the community. Everybody loved him. He looked after people. Yeah, Fitzroy was a community back in the day. Gertrude Street, Fitzroy, Collingwood, Smith Street. It was community, driven city. You you couldn't walk down Gertrude Street. If you're going from one place to the other in Gertrude Street, it'd take you about an hour because people would be stopping you in the street and we'd just be yarning. The uncles, aunties, cousins, anybody. So, getting a gym started. Jock had the idea that you get young fellas, off the street, out the parks, out the lanes, going down the wrong road, stop them from going, thieving, burging, doing burgs, getting into trouble with the police, and teach them a bit about boxing because Jock knew. He knew a bit about boxing and fighting, and he was he did a bit of boxing himself. I'm sorry, I should have mentioned, Jock, but he was. But not only that, he eventually got started from humble beginnings, on top of the old Linda workshop in Fitzroy. He finally started up the Fitzroy Stars football team, and was a pretty big effort. And the Stars are a very well known football team that played around Fitzroy and that district, and so it was all about something, an alternative for going down the wrong way, drinking, getting in trouble with the police, and through sport. It was called Maysden now. It's actually run by Troy, his son, Troy Austin, and so it's just it's been one of those places that have has been strong and kept people, it kept people out of trouble, kept people on the straight and narrow. That's for sure. I know he must have seen something in me. Like it's amazing that people see things in you that you don't see yourself, and so Jock saw something in me. I'm not quite sure what it was, but to try and get me, off the grog, off the streets, out of the parks and the lanes, and doing something else. Because I was only young when I hit Fitzroy, about 16, and drinking, and that's why a lot of people my age didn't really, they said, we never saw you around, Archie. I said, well, where was you when you were 16 or something, 17, something like that? They said, we were going to school. I said, well, I was going to school too, but a different school. It was a drinking school in Fitzroy. And even later on in life, when I did stop drinking and that, it was people like Jock that I know laid that groundwork that helped me in the future to stop drinking and keep focused on something a bit better. The reason I dedicated the album to Jock was because I loved him, so much, and respected him so much, and not just for what he'd done for me, or given me, but what he'd given a lot of other people and young fellas as well. I remember when I finished I think it was the day we finished recording the album Charcoal Lane 30 years ago. When we finished recording the album Charcoal Lane, I'm sorry, I'm a bit emotional talking about it. We got the news that Jock had passed away, and you know, it was mixed emotions. I was so happy that we finally got the album done, Charcoal Lane, my very first album, and I thought that was good enough for me. Whatever happened after that didn't matter. You know, just to do an album was pretty amazing for me. And but to get the news that Jock had passed away, it just it brought everything down, and it was so devastating. And but you know, when it was done and finished, the album, and ready to be packaged and brought out, I said I want the album dedicated. I want to dedicate it to Jock Austin, and that's the reason. You know, that's the impact he had. That's the impression Jock Austin had on my life. I had to have something. I had to give something back. So to dedicate the album Charcoal Lane to Jock was the least I could do. Yeah. So this is the song Charcoal Lane. 30 years later from when we recorded it the first time. Side by side, walk along to the end of Gertrude Street, and we tarpaulin mustard for a quart more wine. Well, thick or thin, right or wrong, in the cold and in the heat, we cross over Smith Street to the end of the line. And then we laugh and sing, do anything to take away the pain. Try to keep it down as it first went round in Charcoal Lane. Oh, spitting yarns and telling jokes. Now the wine is tasting good, 'cause it's getting closer and closer to its end. Go have a sip and roll some smokes. We smoke tailor-mades if we could, but we just may do with some city straight blend. And then we'd all check in and start to grin. We had enough to do it again, but if things got tight, we had to bite for Charcoal Lane. So up Gertrude Street, we'd walk once more, with just a few cents short, and we'd stop at the builders to see who we could see, and we'd bite around until we'd score a flagon of McWilliamsport, just enough to take away misery. And then we all get drunk, oh so drunk, and maybe a little insane. And we stagger home, all alone, and the next day we do it again. Have a reviver, Charcoal Lane. Oh, I'm a survivor of Charcoal Lane.